What's up, YouTube? It's Ryan from AnnihilatorMTG here, and I'm back again with some more Modern. The list that I'm going with today is one that I played a couple weeks ago. It's GB Infect. I was taking a look at the 75, and I thought to myself, we could probably lean this out a little bit. So what I decided to do was move some of the 2-drops into the sideboard and cut the 4th Brutality altogether. We also decided to switch 2 of the Assassin's Trophies into 2 more copies of Abrupt Decay. Now, in my opinion, this is a little bit risky in certain matchups, but against things like Chalice and 3 Minutes of Fairy, this is going to be absolutely wonderful. We're also running the Lurrus package, which to me is an obvious choice, especially since that's what most other people are doing in a build like this. We're also running 2 copies of Rancor, which is very important, especially against annoying things like Bitter Blossom, among other things. See, with Plague Stinger, it's not like Blighted Agent where nothing can block it, it just has flying, which is good, but not as good. As for the rest of the list, it's exactly what you would expect, so I'm pretty excited to give it a shot. So let's hop into the queue and see if we can win our matches. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here and won the die roll. Good stuff. And Lurrus will be our companion, absolutely. Best of luck to you, opponent. Okay, this is interesting. We have the kill if we get a green source and we're not interrupted. So I'm actually pretty darn happy about this. Alright. Possible turn 2. I'm always thrilled with that. Scale up is really, really phenomenal. It's very, very good. See if our opponent mulligans. Now the big downside here is we don't have a black source at all, so these Thought Seizes are just kind of dead. And we're not really in a scenario where we actually necessarily want it at all. Because ideally, we'll just top deck some kind of green source, and obviously green-black is fine, and then just win, so they're not super relevant. Not in our ideal game, anyways. Opponent plays a Plains, interesting. And they path us, okay. Well, it's not great, but now we have our Swamp, so we can punish them a little bit. We just need to find a replacement Infect creature, unfortunately. And there we have it. Okay. Couldn't have wrote it better myself. So let's hit them with the Thoughtseize and see what they have. Okay, what have we here? Another path, Hour of Promise, Wall of Blossoms. Interesting. So Bant, that's fun. Well, let's take the let's take the Path to Exile. Alright, so they're 2 paths down. That's pretty darn good. Yeah, I think we're okay here. We'll pass. We can Thoughtseize them again, take their Hour of Promise if need be. Not so sure how relevant that's going to be, but that's alright. We'll hard pass. I don't expect to need to animate the Inkmoth Nexus at all, but it is what it is. Okay, so they play a Flooded Strand. Not bad. Alright, they crack the Flooded Strand, and they get a Breeding Pool. Nice. There's their Wall of Blossoms. Okay. Plague Stinger. Interesting, 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 interesting. Let's... This is tough. Let's Thoughtseize. We might as well. Okay, what have we here? Double Hour of Promise. Interesting. Alright. Not the most threatening series of cards in the world, so let's animate the Inkmoth here. It looks like we're just going to be getting in for 1. Not the most compelling amount of damage in the world, but our opponent doesn't really have anything we're necessarily afraid of here. They have a Field of Ruin, obviously, and that's not great for us, but, you know, it is what it is. Having the Plague Stinger as our backup is, you know, obviously compelling. Alright, we got a Peatland here. Let's play the Plague Stinger. Alright, let's see here. Let's take the opportunity to just play the Rancor. You know, it's just an enchantment. It's an aura. It'll be fine. And, you know, if the Plague Stinger dies, then we would have been in trouble anyways. So I actually think we're fine here. And now, coincidentally, if our opponent decides to kill our Inkmoth, then we'll have a basic forest which we can use to crack the Peatland if need be. Which I think I'm inclined to do at their end step, if that ends up happening. And yep, they seem interested. Oh, they're going to target the Peatland. Okay. Alright. Well, we get a basic forest anyways. Still feel like we're in a good spot here, for sure. Opponent plays the Sanctuary, but it does nothing. Well, unless they have their 3rd path, which if so, good lord. Unless they have that, then I think we're in a good spot. So let's scale up, cast that, quickly turn into, what would that be? Yeah, like an 8/4, right? It's wild. Then we'll hit them with the Might of Old Krosa. And that's lethal if they don't have anything. There we go, okay. So Bant, very interesting. Let's see, the Veils are probably in, the Spellskites are probably in, the Brutalities are probably great too, so I guess we have to decide what we're doing here. Let's see here. I guess we could probably get away with honestly cutting the Nobles. We can cut the Nobles, then at that point, what are we afraid of here? If our opponent is... I don't know. These Veil's actually good. I didn't see very much in terms of like counter spells, so maybe we can cut like a bauble, just take the brutalities, handle it that way. The spell skies are obviously useful, and if we run into counter magic, then we can just cross that bridge if we come to it. So, okay, sure. Let's submit and see what we do. Okay, Luris shall be our companion. This is interesting. We have quite a few creatures here. We don't really have colored mana, though, so I think we have to mulligan this. This is better. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, I say it's better, but we don't have an infect creature. I think we'll keep for now. Like this is fine. It's not the best. It's not the worst. If we end up not top decking, then it is what it is. But we have interaction. We have ways to deal with our hand, and you know, in these colors, that's more than good enough. Play a Triome, so 4 color, interesting. And there's an infect creature, nice. All right, so we're gonna leave with a Thoughtseize no matter what. It's kind of what we want to do. Uro, Renin 6, Cleansing Wildfire. All right. Well, Renin 6 is actually manageable. That's kind of the crazy part. But Uro, putting that in the bin doesn't actually help us all that much. Destroy target land, that's probably the worst card for us here. So I actually think we have to take the Wildfire. Yeah, I'm not happy about that, but this Abrupt Decay is going to hurt their Renin 6. They are going to get 1 activation, which it is what it is. But as long as it doesn't stay on the board, then I'm not too worried about it, you know. They get their land back. Okay. So next turn is likely an Uro, which is, it is what it is. All right, so let's see here. How much do we actually care about the Renin 6? It's not like they can target our Inkmoth Nexus at like instant speed or anything. And if we could just get started, then there's something to be said about that. Sure, I think I'm actually just going to do that. This might be wrong, but I figure why not? Let's give it a shot. Okay, Scalding Tarn. We're likely going to see an Uro. All right, our opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain, quite the mana base, and they play an Uro. They gain some life back, which makes the mana base that much easier to deal with on their part. And a Breeding Pool, okay. Wow, they really have it all here. They return their Scalding Tarn, kind of annoying, but it is what it is. All right, okay, Scale Up, that's pretty good. Sure. Yeah, we should just go for it. All right, so we're going to animate the Inkmoth Nexus. Then we'll play the Scale Up. And if they don't have any interaction, we just kind of win next turn. That's the crazy part. Obviously we attack them. That's our goal here. Okay, 6 Infect. Well, see what we can do next turn. They have a guaranteed 5th land, and a guaranteed 6th land, actually, because they're going to be able to uptick Renin 6. But we might be able to get underneath them, which is pretty important. Let's see here. Wow. 4 colors. Omnath. Whoa, spicy. Huh, okay, sure. I didn't actually think Omnath was played in Modern, but this is sick. Okay, gain 4 life. Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's fine. I don't think we care. It doesn't have reach, does it? No. All right. They gain some life, which functionally doesn't matter too much. They crack a Scalding Tarn, which means they're going to get the 2nd trigger. So they're going to get 4 free mana of the matching color that is Omnath. All right. Let's see here. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. I do. Okay, so they get a Mystic Sanctuary, and then they put the Cleansing Wildfire on top. They get the mana. Now, if they have a way to draw, then they can just play it, which is absolutely wild. Unbelievable. Okay, they uptick. What do they do with this mana? Nothing? Okay. All right. We're safe? There's no way. That's wild. Jeez. Okay, well, let's animate it. Might of Old Krosa. See if they scoop. And they do. 4-color Omnath. Nice. All right, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend. All right, so we've got some promising stuff here. It's a little bit fragile, but I think we can keep this. Hopefully our opponent mulligans or doesn't have too much interaction. All right, opponent goes down to 5. That's pretty intense. Ooh, what have we here? Ooh, a duplicate Glistener Elf. That could be good. All right, so let's play the Elf. Play the Bauble. Play the Bauble. We'll check their top card. What in God's name? Another one. All right. I don't want to assume this is Charbelcher, but it could be. And another Bauble. Wow. All right. Yeah, I assume that's what this is. Okay, well, that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's look at their top card again. All right, so Mishra's Bauble. It's Blooming Marsh. Okay. Well, let's go Bauble. Check our top card. Thoughtseize, that's decent. Interesting. Let's do Plague Stinger. Then let's swing in with the Glistener Elf. See if they just block. They do not. Hopefully our opponent can't win immediately. That would be very bad. So we got a Thoughtseize next turn. So I think as long as they don't win here, then I think we're okay. Pentad Prism, all right. So I think we're okay. I really do, actually. Depends on what we draw. That's pretty good. Let's Thoughtseize. Take the opportunity here. I'm assuming we take that, I guess. Interesting, that's fine. All right, so let's see here. We go Mutagenic Growth. Then we go Noble. We swing in. It gets pumped. Become Immense. Exile the lot. And there we go. Okay. So, Charbelcher. I assume Abrupt Decays are going to be pretty good here, although I could be mistaken about that. I don't know if they have too much interaction, to be honest. Let's see here. I think we can likely cut... What do we cut here, honestly? What do we cut? What do we bring in is really the question here. I guess we can preemptively bring in Spellskites. That's not terrible. We might just say, like, cut Hierarchs, bring in Spellskites, and just say, like, that's fine. Although maybe we can keep, like, 2 and cut, like, 1 Become Immense, 1 Bobble. That way we're not completely trounced in terms of mana curve. Sure, let's go with this. All right, game number 2 here, and I actually just noticed something pretty interesting. I think that this player, Soggy Cheerios, seems to be jamming Charbelcher pretty routinely, because I think I've actually seen them before, and this is what they've been playing pretty much across the board. I could be mistaken, but yeah, I think they play this all the time. I've seen them in the queue. Leyline, all right, I'll take it. We don't have any interaction at the moment, so that's actually fine. Well, we don't have any interaction that would care about Leyline. So let's crack this. Let's get an Overgrown Tomb. Then let's go Glistener Elf. Hopefully they don't have any removal, and we'll go from there. The next turn we can go Spellskite if need be. Abrupt Decay, whatever they play, if it's like a creature or something. But yeah. All right. Plague Stinger, that's pretty good. Let's go Verdant Catacombs. Let's crack this. Then... I think we're actually fine to go with the Spellskite. We swing in. Seems like no blocks, so we'll go with the Mutagenic Growth. Get in for 3. That's pretty good. Now, if we draw like a scale up, we just win. That's important. Pentad Prism for 1. It's not good for them. Okay, so that's 3 mana. I think we could just kill the Pentad Prism. That might be worth it. Glistener Elf. Okay. Well, let's go Noble. Abrupt Decay the Pentad Prism. Swing in for 2. So we have them at 5 Infect now. We have a way to protect our Glistener Elf, which is important. Talisman. That's pretty cool. All right. Scale up. There we go. Let's do this. Scale up the Glistener Elf. Move to attacks. Swing in. Exalted Trigger. 7/5. And there we have it. We beat Charbelcher. Good stuff. Alrighty. Looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend. Okay, so we've got double pump Thoughtseize, no infect creature. That's unfortunate. If we draw into one, I think we'll be in phenomenal shape, but I don't know if we can keep this. I really don't. I think we can just try to mulligan and see what happens. Okay. Redundant Scale Up, not huge on that, but then again, I'm also not huge on 3 lands, so I think we can probably ship the basic Swamp. Okay, this is a little bit better for sure. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have too much interaction. That would be bad. But this hand is a little bit Thoughtseize proof, just a little bit because of the Ink Moth. But if they're running Thoughtseizes, they're likely running removal, which I'm not going to be happy about. So hopefully we see like Tron Peace go. That would be phenomenal. Basic Forest Pass. That's interesting. Pendelhaven. All right. Let's go Blooming Marsh and then Elf Pass. I think if we sequence this right, we actually just have the win. Oh, these are wonderful lands. Holy cow. Oh, wow, they have Infect too. Is this mono green? Well, this changes things a bit. Let's see. Sure. Let's give it a whirl. Scale up. All right. We swing in. See if they block. Feel like they gotta. They don't. Mutagenic Growth. Okay. Have them at 9. If they have it, then they have it, which I'm assuming since they're mono green, they likely do, which is not great. They can just go like triple Might of Volcrosa, scale up Might of Volcrosa. They've got pretty much anything really. Rancor, okay. They're going instant speed, which is interesting. What in God's name? Okay, that's interesting. Well, let's go Mishra's Bauble. Let's go Inkmoth. Let's check the top of their deck. Huh. All right, that's fine. Let's pump. They won't be able to regenerate, which is good. And as long as they don't top deck an Inkmoth, then I think we're fine. Unless they just have it, which would be bad. Plague Stinger, that's not terrible. All right. They have Trample. I don't think it'll matter, and I don't want to give up our Inkmoth, so I think I'm just going to hard pass. They play their enchantment. They swing for 3. Plus, I actually think blocking it, plus, is that when it blocks or when it is blocked? It becomes blocked, yeah. So we actually wouldn't want to do that. It's a pretty interesting card, for sure. All right, let's play a Blooming Marsh, then let's animate. I mean, I can't imagine that they wouldn't just concede if they didn't have something here. Oh, well, I guess I just didn't see it. Interesting. All right, so Infect Mirror. That's fun. Let's go Abrupt Decays, Spell Skites. Those are going to be phenomenal. I think we can actually afford to get rid of the Noble Hierarchs. We could probably afford to get rid of a couple of the Baubles, too, as weird as that sounds. Maybe. The Blossoming Defense is probably going to be kind of weak since they're playing green, so we might be able to go... Brutalities would be phenomenal here. I actually think I might want to do this. Sure. Yeah, let's go with this. All right, I'm pretty confident. I feel like we're the interactive one in the mirror, they're the aggressor, and we have plenty of interaction, and we can be mighty aggressive on our own, especially with this more refined low CMC version of the build. We're not just running 12 2-drops straight out the gate. Glistener Elf, Pendelhaven, Scale Up. Well, this might not be fast enough. I think I'm going to mulligan. It's not great, but it does have a Spellskite. Let's get rid of a Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, we could do some funky things with a Spellskite. They play a Forest, a Glistener Elf, and pass. All right. Okay, Plague Stinger, that's pretty good. Let's crack this. We'll get an Overgrown Tomb. We'll play a Noble Hierarch. Hopefully they just don't have the win. If they do, that would be pretty unfortunate. Then, if we manage to survive, we can jam Spellskite and give it, like, Rancor. And then just equip that and then just go for the regular damage route. That's pretty compelling. Of course, we can just play the Plague Stinger, although Spellskite's really good in this matchup. Pretty cool Glistener Elf art, honestly. Okay, just attacking and that's it. No Scale Up, no Might of Old Krosa. So I'll just let it through. Ah, Groundswell, that's good. All right, they hit us for 5. I'm okay with that. So let's do this. We'll crack this. We'll get an Overgrown Tomb. Play the Spellskite, which I'm thrilled with. And let's give it a Rancor. Or Rancor. I always pronounce it differently. Nature's Claim. That's fun. That sucks. Yep, we just lose there, I think. I mean, unless they just don't have Pomp. If they do, that's pretty wild. Stellar that they brought that in preemptively. Really good stuff from our opponent. Although maybe that's just to target Inkmoth Nexus. Who knows? Do they have another Groundswell? Another Might of Old Krosa? Scale Up. There you go. GG's opponent. That was pretty strong. Good showing. All right, let's see here. Let's cut... let's bring in another Brutality, and let's cut another Bauble, honestly. Okay. We got Glistener Elf, we got Rancor, we got Might of Old Krosa. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Plus a Brutality, that's pretty nice. Nice, down to 5. Okay, because they did that, I'm just going to go with the Glistener Elf first. I was thinking about going with the Noble Hierarch if they just have, like, the full grip. Because you never know if they're just running something crazy like Gut Shot in the side or something like that. You know what I mean? All right, they play a Forest. And they're just passing? Brutal. Nice. Okay. It's Thoughtseize. Hopefully we don't get Veiled. Can you imagine? All right. Groundswell, a creature, which we can just take care of. So I think we'll take the... Let's see. I think we'll take the Scale Up. And then let's go with... Let's play the Noble, honestly. Yeah, I think we're in an extremely advantageous position here. They must be extremely paranoid about the fact that we let them keep their Infect creature, which might just be objectively a mistake. It might just, you know, be so much stronger to just take it and be done with it. But I feel like they're just going to jam it out, then we can Brutality and 2-for-1 them. We'll hard pass. Yep, that's what they go for. Because, I mean, honestly, what are you going to do? Just skip? Just do nothing? You can't do that. All right, so they have Forest, Unknown, and Groundswell. Abrupt Decay, that's phenomenal. All right, let's... Brutality, 2 modes. Take a card from their hand, and -2, -2. All right, let's ditch the Rancor, honestly. They're probably just going to scoop at this point. They can't really do anything about this. Pendelhaven, Forest. Yeah, they just got 2 lands. Nothing really to show for. Might Volcrosa. Alright. So we're going to get in for 6 damage here, which puts them at lethal next turn. So I'm pretty sure we have this locked up. Even if they play an Infect creature, we Abrupt Decay, and then we're good to go. Alright, there you have it. Won the Infect Mirror. Good stuff. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend. Let's see here. Well, we have the Noble, which is pretty good. We'll be able to jam the Plague Stinger, and then we have the Pump to be able to get us there. The only thing that's really weak about this is if we get stranded on a 1-lander, and they have some way to kill our Noble. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I think we can keep this. Alright. Looks like our opponent mulliganed to 6, so that's pretty good. Let's crack this Verdant Catacomb, and we'll get an Overgrown Tomb, and let's play the Noble and pass. Here's hoping they don't have a Bolt or a Push. I will take a Path, though. That's fine. I don't know why they'd Path a Noble. That'd be really strange. Okay. Now, since they have Flooded Strand, I'm a bit concerned here, so if we could top deck, like, a Mana Source, that'd be phenomenal. Interesting. Second Noble. I actually think I'm just going to jam the second Noble. Yeah, I'm going to jam the second Noble, then I'll just attack. Yeah, my reasoning for this is I don't want our opponent to get a Path on our Plague Stinger. So if we can play the Plague Stinger, hold up the Blossoming Defense, and then go from there, then I think we'll be okay. All right, they get a Temple Garden tapped. Very interesting. All right, a Misty Rainforest. Looks like we're going with some Bant here. Aether Vial. Okay. Is this that... I wonder if this is that Soul Herder, like, Flicker deck. Okay. Well, let's jam the Plague Stinger. And we're not going to attack with a Noble for obvious reasons. We need to be able to hold up the Blossoming Defense. That's a huge factor. Our opponent gets to uptick their Aether Vial, and they will hit likely 3 mana. We can win next turn if they don't have anything, so that is relevant. Peatland, that's pretty darn good. So let's tap a Noble. Let's cast Scale Up. See if they do anything. Nope. Okay. Let's move to attacks. We will swing, get both pumps. So now we're at 8-6. Let's see if they flash in like a Spell Queller or something. Okay. They Path. That's Blossoming Defense. Will they have a Counterspell? Force of Negation, pitching a Watcher. Okay, that's not great. Nothing we can do about that, though, unfortunately. I'll get a green source. Now, do we Abrupt Decay the Aether Vial? That's an interesting question. Do we Abrupt Decay the Vial, or do we just wait for whatever they play? I think we wait. We can go with the regular damage plan since we have Scale Up plus Become Immense, which could be just absurd. But we're going to have to plan this accordingly. Let's see. They got a Hollowed Fountain. Will they put it in untapped? They do. That's interesting. What are they going for here? Ice Fang Coatl. Okay. Let's see here. I think we'll wait. I'm inclined to kill it so we can have a free lane to be able to hit our opponent here. I still am a bit concerned, though. They're moving to attacks. They swing in. No problem just taking 1. That's fine. They're tapping. 3 mana to Fairy. All right, we've got a couple of options here. We can Abrupt Decay the Vial. Yeah, we can Abrupt Decay the Vial and then just kill the Teferi normally and then just do things that way. We can ignore the Teferi entirely. That's probably a mistake, though. Yeah, let's just kill the Vial, I guess. I'm not thrilled with this move, especially because they can just, you know, activate it in response. And if they have a 2-drop, which they don't, okay. All right, so we get that out of the way. And them returning, okay, I guess they just really want to draw. Very interesting stuff from our opponent. Let's play the Noble. Ooh, hang on now. God, can we win? No, there's no way. Okay, we Scale Up Mutagenic Growth. That's, oh my god, we can win. Okay, this is absurd. Well, let's hope the shields are as down as they seem. Okay, swing in for 16 on the Noble. Wow, and it worked, okay. Wow, you don't see a regular damage win on game 1 very often. Okay, so I like the Veils, I like the Abrupt Decays, for sure. Especially since they're playing, like, Flicker, or what seems like Flicker, because they had the Watcher in particular, plus the Vial. That's a bit of a dead giveaway. So what is weak here? I think we could probably trim on a Become Immense. That's likely to be good. I don't know how good these Mutagenic Growths are. They might not be great. Let's put these over here. We can maybe trim on a Bauble, like trim on a Bauble, and then go like maybe cut the rankers. I mean, that might just be wrong because they have stuff on board, but it's not. See, ranker's not high impact enough. That's the interesting thing. We need to kind of stay open to the idea of being able to just punk them out with something like might plus scale up, or scale up plus might technically. But are we cutting too much pump is the big question here. I don't know. I think this is fine. Yeah, let's just submit like this and see how it goes. And if I don't like it, then we can always try again, and we'll be on the play. Yeesh. Triple bobble plus double pump plague stinger. I mean, we have a lot of chances to get a black source, but is this good enough is the question. I kind of want to mulligan this. This is a lot better. This is a whole heck of a lot better. Okay, let's keep and let's ship a Abrupt Decay. All right. I like the interaction, especially in this matchup. Being able to just, you know, take our opponent's cards out from underneath them is the main reason that we're running black in the first place. Okay. Inkmoth Nexus, that's nice. All right, let's go Peatland and then take one Thoughtseize. Let's see here. Ephemerate, Ice Fang, Skyclave, Teferi. Well, here's the thing. They can't cast Teferi yet. We can take one Ice Fang. That's decent. This stops them from getting another look. But what's the... Do we take the Skyclave? Well, taking the Skyclave now is, like, sort of pointless. Let's take a Ice Fang, and we'll pass. We can always Abrupt Decay next turn if we want. Or we can just take the other Ice Fang if they happen to get nothing. With that said, if they top deck a land, they can just play it. Oh, and they didn't. That's very good for us. Okay, let's see here. Let's go Swamp, Thoughtseize again, Path, Ephemerate, Ice Fang, Skyclave. All right, let's take another Ice Fang. This seems bad, what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna Glistener Elf. Then we'll get our third land, which will allow us to be able to crack the Peatland if need be. Our opponent's still stranded on one land. They can't cast anything all that good with what they have now. They do path us. Let's get that forest. All right, now they have Ephemerate, Skyclave, Teferi, so they can't cast any of their 3-drops, even if they top deck a land, and the Vial isn't where it needs to be yet. Okay, we're in a phenomenal spot. Absolutely phenomenal. Let's play the Inkmoth, and then we'll Abrupt Decay the Vial. We'll see what they do. Nothing. Phenomenal. Then we'll play a Plague Stinger. All right, they're in a terrible spot here. Absolutely terrible. At least from my perspective. Okay. Really glad we had those Abrupt Decays. Let's crack this. Let's get Overgrown Tomb. Then let's crack this. Then let's pump it. Resolves. Good stuff. We swing in for 6. All right. Hit him with 6 Infect. Okay. We'll be at 8 next turn if they have nothing. They still aren't playing anything. Wonderful. Well, Pendelhaven. That's good. All right. Let's animate this. Inkmoth. We're not going to win with the Pendelhaven right now anyways, so I kind of want to get the second Inkmoth on the board. All right, got him at 8. Got lethal next turn, no matter how you slice it. Unless our opponent has some crazy way to come back from this, and they don't. Good stuff. And there we have it, another video in the books. It seems like Golgari Infect really is quite something. I don't think we have the list refined 100% just yet, but I like where it's going, and it's an absolute blast to play. So I have some minor channel updates for you guys. I've been having some technical issues for the past few weeks. My graphics card just randomly decided to crap out on me in the middle of editing one of these videos. That's not going to prevent me from making them. It just takes a lot longer. That's why I decided to go back to Golgari Infect this week. It's something familiar that's comfortable to play and has relatively quick matches. Once I get everything resolved, I'll look into recording leagues, among other things, so I really appreciate your patience. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys are awesome. Stay safe out there and have a good one.